It is impossible to create something out of nothing. If one wishes to obtain something, something of equal value must be given. This is the law of equivalent exchange.
Discussion time. All right. We're back. Thank you for joining. Tyler, it's great to be back.
It is indeed, Josh.
This is a fun time. This is a great day for podcast. Before we get started with everything, we just wanted to thank you guys for joining. And please be sure to check out the previous episodes of the podcast you may have missed. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to email us at spotogaming@gmail.com. Your question might be answered on this podcast. Sound like a good deal? Tyler, what you think?
I think that sounds like an excellent deal.
All right. So if you're not familiar with that beautiful introduction, applause to you, Tyler, by the way. Applause. Nice applause. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is an incredible series, and if you haven't seen it, this is your spoiler warning, because we're going to be spoiling everything for you. What are you even doing with your life if you haven't seen it? But before we get into it, a quick word from our sponsors. Fullmetal Alchemist. Do you or a loved one like video games? Do you have an Instagram? Do you like to follow Spotto Gaming on other media other than podcasts and YouTube? Then join Spotto Gaming on Instagram for gaming news, trivia. I don't know what else do we got. I don't know. Tyler, use your best movie voice. Tell people what we got.
Screenshots. Lots of screenshots.
And something else. Spotto Gaming on Instagram. Okay, enough silliness aside. Follow Spotto Gaming on Instagram for everything you possibly could ever want. Gaming news, us news, anything. You know, that's the best place to see what we're doing. Also, at the end of this podcast, we will have details about our Patreon and our tip jar, if you guys want to support us that way. But now back to your regularly scheduled program. Fullmetal Alchemist. All right. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, Tyler.
Indeed.
Indeed. Without a doubt, probably one of the best stories, group of characters. I don't even know. It's without need of introduction. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is just probably one of my favorite anime that has ever existed ever.
It's kind of the one that you base all the other ones off of.
Yeah, honestly.
for me at least. I know for Josh too, but it's
I was kind of late watching it, having only just watched it last year, but I wish I grew up with it. I really do. It was great. So Tyler and I have compiled a list of our top 10 favorite moments from the show. And rather than putting them in our, favorite order, from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10 or whatever, we have them listed in chronological order. So we'll tell you what episode it is and the name of the episode. And we'll kind of just talk about what made it resonate with us. There's several different moments in each episode that we kind of want to talk about, so it's kind of cheating, but we make the rules. Ain't that right, Tyler?
Indeed. I wish you all could see my face right now. I'm just smiling. I'm so excited for this.
You're just a smiling. Did you create that smile alchemically?
Yes, I did.
What did you sacrifice for it?
My soul.
Okay. You know what? Speaking of sacrifice, let's move on to the very first moment. The moment that in my opinion, defined what this series truly was. That moment comes from episode 2, The First Day. Tyler, the first time I saw the failed human transmutation when they're trying to bring their freaking mom back from the dead.
Oh, man. It was hard to look at.
Oh, my God.
But you wanted to look at it more at the same time.
I know. It's like one of those things, It's like one of those jokes you feel bad about laughing at.
You got to look at it.
Oh, my God. But like it's just, you're right though. It's one of those things you just can't turn your head away from, but you're kind of disgusted by it.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. It was really interesting. I thought it was definitely worth mentioning on this list for a couple of reasons. The first is this set the stakes for the show. How old were Ed and Al? Like 8 or something when they were doing this?
Yeah, they were under 10, I would believe.
Yeah, they're pretty young, and they were smart enough with alchemically to even attempt this, and that has to be like the most traumatizing thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if he wasn't smart enough, he would have lost his brother forever, you know?
Yeah.
Ed sacrifices literally his arm for bringing his brother back, and you know, he just lost a leg from, you know, trying to bring his mother back. I mean, Al got the worst package out of this, you know?
Yeah.
I guess he was more invested than Ed was, you know? Because Al lost his whole entire freaking body.
Yeah. He
But
literally,
yeah, no,
literally gave the arm and leg for his own brother back.
he really did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he gave his arm.
Yeah.
He gave his leg for his mother.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
you know, it sets up such a permanent consequence, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing equal to the value of a human soul is what they're basically setting up in that initial thing.
Yeah.
And you know, they learn the truth in more ways than one, you know?
Mm-hmm.
At that very, very, you know, point in time. I don't know, it's just bringing back memories of that, watching that for the first time. I'm getting chills and like hearing the music in my head a little bit.
Yeah.
The Portal of the Truth music or whatever it is. Man,
Yeah.
it's just so freaky. Did you have anything you wanted to add about that? Like anything you felt about with that episode?
No, but like you said, right off the bat, it sets the stakes for the show, and it kind of tells you a lot about Ed and now.
Yeah.
Like the links
They're
that
brilliant.
Yeah, they're brilliant, but like the links they're willing to go to try and save someone they love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But,
Which basically solidifies their character, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Moving on from there, that was definitely, you know, it didn't waste any time. That show definitely kicked up the stakes.
Yeah.
But very close to that in episode 10, Separate Destinations, we see the death, like the first permanent like realization since the you know, the failed human transmutation, the death of Mace Hughes.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh,
Big sad.
you know, if you weren't already invested before, you were definitely invested by then. Because man, it just reinforces the fact that this show just has permanent consequence. There is no avoiding the fact that it's inevitable. Like something is permanent. It's gone once it's gone, you know?
Yeah. And
Gosh.
it was really interesting. To me, I had actually, this was really the first anime I watched like back in, I don't remember, like middle school or like high school. And I just remembered like, oh, he's dead. Like they're not bringing him back. Like this is strange. Like this is like the first time that I've watched something like this, and it was like, oh man, like he's not coming back. Like I almost kept expecting him to the first time.
Yeah.
And I was like, man.
Only time we ever get to see him again is in flashbacks.
Yeah.
And
But,
I'm glad there was permanence to it, because if they broke the rules and brought him back or whatever,
mm-hmm.
it would have really, you know, depreciated the value of what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Also, a little side note, I really enjoyed this episode because it introduced Azumi Curtis, you know, teacher. She's one of my favorite. She said, they're like, "Who are you?" She said, "I'm just a housewife."
After she like just goes through like, oh man, jeez.
She's also, her character is just probably the most sympathetic, you know, besides
Yeah.
Ed and Al. We could talk about her an entire podcast, honestly. We really could. Azumi Curtis is probably one of my favorite characters in that entire thing. Besides what's his name? Alex Louis Armstrong. My muscles have muscles. Ed and Al, Elric brothers, I love you both. My muscles missed you.
The Armstrong generation.
The Armstrong.
Jeez, it's just oh man,
I love it so much.
a wacky character.
But yeah,
that
going
has a
on
big
from
heart.
there, he really does. His heart is bigger than his muscles.
Yes.
But going on from there, we have
Episode 12. It's one is all is one.
that's a hard thing to say.
Yeah.
You know, typing that was even harder.
So this is the backstory on Ed Now's relationship with teacher Azumi Curtis. Man, it was a really cool episode, especially with just seeing them like younger, and like they still put like equal amounts of thought into things as they almost do now, which it's really kind of surreal to see. They start to go on like the meaning of what is the meaning of one is all is one, and they start to see throughout the episode, like they get hungry and they're like, I don't want to have to kill this cute little rabbit, and it's like, well,
Something must be exchanged.
we must, yeah. Something must be exchanged, like, because it's like energy. And they kind of get this whole idea going, and they say they understand, like, really they say they understand it, but like later on they tried to revive their mother, so really they didn't quite
It goes against that
understand.
flow.
Yeah, they didn't
It's like
quite
trying to
understand.
swim up a waterfall, you know?
Yeah, but
I mean, technically you can. There is a way to do it, but like the results aren't what you think they'll be, you know?
yeah, and it was just really cool to see them as younger, and like of course Al in one piece.
Yeah.
And,
Roll credits.
yeah, the
Al in
cute
One
Curb Your
Piece.
Enthusiasm theme.
You're
Yeah.
evil.
Yeah,
Um,
but also,
and also another thing that I really liked about it, a small little thing adding to that.
Yeah.
My favorite is when they start seeing the ants as little chocolates.
yeah. And he eats it, and it's like, no. It was like, if you've seen Elf before, it's like when he asked for the passion fruit spray in the
Oh.
mall. She's like, no.
No.
But
Oh my god.
I really thought it was funny, the foreshadowing they did with Izumi's Curtis at Fort Briggs later on.
Yeah, when they're like, there was a bear like sneaking in and stealing food.
It's like, how can we survive out here? And she's like, I survived a whole winter in the Fort Briggs wilderness. And it was later on, obviously, we learned that they had some break-ins at Fort Briggs. They attributed to a bear, but it was obviously her. Like they showed it was her.
Yeah.
It's like, what if it was teacher?
It was definitely.
It was exactly a teacher.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just an incredible episode though. Like it like to the untrained eye it would seem like filler, but it's not.
Yeah. I think from there we'd move on to my next one would be episode 19. Death of the Undying.
Tyler stole this one from me. I wanted to talk about this one. Go ahead, buddy.
It was great though. It was when we were planning out the episode, we were like, oh, I want this one, and he said, oh, you know what would be one I kind of like? It's the one where Roy Mustang kid destroys Lust, and I was like, that's the one I was just talking about, and he was like, ah, man. But he graciously let me have this one. So man, what an episode. He goes down there with Havoc, and he's like trying to hunt down he's trying to hunt down, like just looking in this place, and of course it is Havoc's girlfriend, as he thinks she's just a kind soul when he moves into this new part of Central and everything. Which is not the case. She's part of the Ouroboros gang. You know, so
The homunculi.
yeah, they take her on in underground. They think she's dead, and she did not actually die. And Havoc pays the price for that one. He loses his ability to walk. Meanwhile, she goes away, thinking that she's leaving Roy Mustang to watch Havoc die right in front of him. She goes off because she has to go find Al and I believe Hawkeye, right? So
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, man.
It's just there's so much we could talk about that. We could
Yeah.
be stuck on that episode forever. But honestly, it's a deep dive into Mustang's character.
Yeah, like he does not stop going. Like when he gets going at Lust, like it's really interesting because like they talk about like the conflict in Ishval and everything, and like how they were human weapons, and that really comes out there because he's like merciless.
Yeah, he's snapping like crazy, dude.
Yeah, and she thought she had him, and she just so did not have him.
She did not have control over that situation at all.
Yeah, it speaks on his power, his flame alchemy power. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
No wonder it was kept secret for so, like if that in the wrong hands, imagine if Scar had that ability as well as other abilities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
imagine for a second.
That would be kind of wild.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean though. But like honestly, it was just the first permanent defeat of a homunculus,
For sure. That was...
It was brutal.
It was brutal. Just kind of dusted away. Ooh, crumble away.
He Voldemorted away.
Yeah. What is up with that? Like, all these... We talked about this already. Like, just like enemies crumbling away. Yeah.
I know. I guess it's because they lose their, humanity when they're bad, So
Yeah.
dusting away is not really necessarily a good guy thing,
Yeah. It's just kind of represents just like, oh, there goes that.
Well, that happened.
Yeah. So the next one, I realized
Skipping a little bit ahead.
Yeah, it's a jump, hop, and a skip ahead up to episode 33, the Northern Wall of Briggs. Man, what was one of your favorite parts of this episode? Like, because I know we like this one a lot.
Well, not to take away anything from
No.
what you have planned. I think that General Armstrong is probably the most badass
Yeah.
character. Like she's not that popular or not popular, powerful, so to speak, like as alchemically or whatever. Because we can see some pretty more powerful people, but she's
Yeah.
a badass.
Yeah. You can definitely tell she's part of the Armstrong family.
Yeah, for sure.
Their introduction, how Ed and Al are greeted, they're like, "No, we're state alchemists," and you're like, "You're Druckmann spies," and he's like, "No, no, 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 no," and they grab Al's hat. His head gets stuck in the crocodile clamps, the guy's like superior automail. But while they're up
My
there,
hair.
yes, they cut it off, and Al's like, "My hair."
There's so much comedy as well as other things.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just thought it spoke on her character also that she didn't want to accept and know, like, I'll make my own decision about you. Like, we do things differently up here. You know what I mean? Which I didn't like at first, but I understand because, like, it's a bad place up there as far as we can tell, as far as lore goes. I'll just like, just the fact one of the funnier things was them charging Ed for coffee, and he was like, "Oh, thanks for the coffee," and she was like, "What was like pence?" It's like, "That's 99 pence," and he like spits it out. And he was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Nothing's free here, kid.
Yeah, nothing's free here. One of the funny things also is that's the same voice actress as Major Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell.
Which is one of Tyler's favorites.
Yes, one of my absolute hands down. That was my first anime I got into, but I'm not gonna talk about that here.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
talk about that later
yeah,
after I get a chance to watch it.
yes, indeed. So I believe that's over to you. What your one of your favorite episodes is next? Yeah.
Episode 37, The First Homunculus.
Yes.
Okay, so there's plenty of things that make this episode good. Um, but I think probably the number one thing that I think of is that Salim Bradley is the homunculus pride. We
Yeah.
see that for the first time and we're like, oh my god, that's terrifying. I
Yeah.
mean, you see Pride in his out of body thing with the, that weird smile and all the eyes and crap. But then when you see him
My
as this
skin crawl.
demonic version of a kid, that's even more creepy than just this monster, in the tunnels,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And then, man, you see a lot more of Kimbley's character. He
Yes.
is a monster. He loves just, oh, there I go killing again.
Yeah.
That's what I love to do. You
that
just
sound, it's beautiful.
sound. It's like I'm just enjoying the killing spree.
Yeah.
God, it's so weird.
As an animal.
But he really is. Another thing that kind of just like, I had to make a point about it is that Ed is tempted with a philosopher's stone. Kimberly offers him one in like exchange to paint, the blood picture or whatever it was. What was the analogy they used? They have to create the tragedy or something like that.
Yeah, they have to soak the land in certain areas.
Soak
with
the
blood
land.
of
Yeah, yeah,
people.
yeah. Yeah. Because they have to make a giant transmutation circle.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers. But
Spoilers.
we gave you a spoiler warning at the beginning. What have you done this far?
Yes.
But like, to see Ed's resolve as a person to not be tempted by a philosopher's stone, because I mean he easily could have.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were going after, and I don't know. I just thought it was really cool to see how steadfast Ed was.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But moving on from there, we have very shortly after that episode 40, Homunculus, the dwarf in the flask. This I chose this one because the origin of Father and von Hohenheim is probably the most interesting part of the entire thing. Because Father, my first thought was, oh, that's Ed's dad.
Yeah.
Going into it, I knew that Father looked like that. So I saw Ed's dad at the beginning. I was like, wait, is his dad the bad guy? It's like, that's a good trope. Go
Yeah.
Darth Vader on you, Join me and together we will be alchemical gods. No. But like knowing that it's just it's a homunculus that was based off of the image of von Hohenheim. After the whole giant transmutation thing, he like chose that body or whatever.
Yeah.
Made that his form. It's really weird. But I mean, along with the origins, we get a real showcase of his cunning. He had planned all this out. He was just this tiny little creature in a flask, and tricked the entire king of the kingdom and the king and everything in the land of Xerxes to basically serve his purpose.
Yes. Yeah, it was. It
And
was
they were
pretty
made into
wild.
living philosopher's stones. It's insane.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was really cool to see that amount of detail in two characters. We see von Hohenheim and we're like, oh, okay, he abandoned his family, he's not really that great, but I mean he had a reason to. He was getting ready for that reckoning, the
Yeah.
promised day. So I don't know, I thought that was a really cool moment for me. Very interesting to see how this being that was just created from a couple drops of blood is as cunning as any villain we've ever seen in any kind of media.
Yeah.
So that was just my piece on that.
Yeah. It was kind of like the all-knowing kind of. It was almost like an emperor
Yeah.
kind of feeling.
Unlimited power. I mean, yeah, he kind of felt like that. He was like using the Force because he was like using psychic alchemy. That's kind of wild.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, for sure.
But that's what I had on that episode. I love that episode.
Yeah, that was an excellent episode. And some people actually, it's I would say that honestly, Ed and Al are a little bit more powerful as alchemists because of who their father is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just a little bit. They're born from just a little bit.
Born from a
Just a
human
little bit.
philosopher's stone. But from there, we're gonna be moving on to episode 51, the Immortal Legion. Man, this one was so they we throughout the series, kind of getting going in midway, they start talking about, oh well, are you interested in an Immortal Legion? Like, you can be saved and you can have like an infinite life, just like me. And like, he obviously doesn't have it quite yet. It was like, I think it was Colonel Raven. Was that his name?
I can't remember.
Uh, they kind of get going on this whole Immortal Legion thing, and then they reveal that it's these actual mindless husks, and like the souls are kind of used to populate them almost.
Yeah.
It's just like really kind of disgusting. These things, like, I thought they were just gonna attack things, but no, they go straight up and try to like devour people whole, like bite them into chunks. It was pretty.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah. So, that one also had Al versus Pride and Kimberly.
That where
Yeah.
Al's using the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, golly. Al didn't have as much reservations against using it because he was like, my goal is to survive. Like, we made a promise to each other. I'm not gonna die here,
And also, I mean, he wasn't using it for self gain.
No,
He was using it to defeat the necessary opposition. It's like the people were fighting that were made into the Philosopher's Stone were fighting back with him.
yeah, and he saves the lion chimera guy.
That's true.
So like, he kind of saw that out as like, well, I saved a life also, but you get to see a lot of Kimberly's power there too.
And I mean, it's probably one of the best animated sequences in the entire thing.
Yeah, Al goes ham. Oh my gosh.
He really does. It's really good.
At the same time that's happening, Scar and Ed and a few of the other chimeras are fighting with the Immortal Legion, and that was epic.
It's crazy because, at the beginning, Scar is this bad guy, and he's this evil person, and now they're fighting side by side with our protagonists,
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
The enemy of thy enemy is my friend, right?
Yeah. Of course, Scar was like, these things are abominations,
These aren't made from God.
But yeah, and I think the next one is one of your favorites. Yeah.
Episode 56, The Return of the Führer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I saved one episode on my favorites moments list for Führer King Bradley. Without a doubt, one of the most intimidating badass characters in this entire thing.
Yes.
I mean, from the very beginning, we almost knew that he was like just this force to be reckoned with,
Yeah.
We didn't know to the extent. But like when Ed is like attacking, doing his state alchemist thing, like attacks him. You don't even see King Bradley move his sword, but it destroys Ed's thing. I'm like, okay, so this guy is just a badass. Okay. And then it turns out he's a freaking homunculus and has like an all-seeing eye that can see weakness in any. Oh my goodness. I was just like, what is going on?
He gave off a Magnum PI vibe to me also, for some reason. I don't know if it was the mustache.
I think it was the mustache.
But like, it was really hard to hate him because like, he was so like, cool and calm and collected.
And also, he's the only homunculus besides Ling and Greed that were made from a human.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, he's just a badass. But anyway, the return of King Bradley is what we're talking about, not the actual character.
No, yeah.
We could do, like, a deep dive. like for a separate episode. Like there's so many characters in this that could take up their own episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But King Bradley comes back. They all thought he was dead from that assassination attempt or whatever. And he comes back and he's like cutting through all the rebels is what they called them all, and then he slices a freaking tank shell with his sword. He's making his way up to the royal palace or whatever, the central communication, whatever it is, and he's just taking people down left and right. And it is insane. It is the best comeback for any bad character. You're almost rooting for him. You're like, yeah, take down those people. Wait, those are the good guys. Oh, crap. It's kind of like when Darth Vader makes his appearance in Rogue One at the end. You know, you're like, yes, kill those rebel scum. Oh, wait. But another good point, same episode, is that Greed/Ling, face King Bradley. And it just showcases more of how much of a badass Bradley is. He's like, wiping the floor with Greed/Ling, and they have the ultimate shield or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You put Bradley in a room with anyone, he's going to take him down,
Yeah, I mean...
So, more often than not.
And that was a really cool thing with Greed and Ling there. Because they solidified, and, they really, all right.
We're a team.
We're a team. We got this. It was really cool.
Avatar state. Yep.
Yeah.
But no, it was just such a good sequence. And then Buccaneer's sacrifice to land a lethal blow on Bradley, super important. And Buccaneer was just set up as this badass, giant metal arm automail thing, just set up as such a good character. And I feel like his takeaway from everything ultimately led to the victory, Yeah. Because King Bradley could have shut down a lot of things, I don't know. I felt like that was a really good send off to Buccaneer's character.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to add to that? Because I pretty much covered what I wanted to cover.
No, I mean that was pretty intense episode. Definitely,
it really was.
Darth Vader vibes going up there. So I guess
root for him the same way,
Yeah, for sure. So I guess the next episode, and I believe this is the final episode we're going to be talking about, was episode 59, Lost Light. Man. So this is the one where Mustang loses his sight, and that was hard because I full on was like, well, that's that. He's not getting his sight back. We all saw how it played out for Maze Hughes.
Yeah,
it's pretty definite, but obviously we know that he gets healed later on. But that was pretty hard.
We're like, oh crap.
Yeah, we were thinking well, I mean, he's not gonna do it. There's no way. And he doesn't do it, but then of course pride pride has to get...
Pride's so powerful.
He is a little OP.
He was able to force Mustang to perform human transmutation.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. And that was also one pretty strange because that was Al talking to his real body in the portal. So it was kind of shadowing you're gonna get your body back, just wait. But it's there and he's waiting,
Yeah.
That was pretty powerful thing to see. But yeah, I think that was my last point on that episode. Do you have anything else you want to add to that part? Was that the episode where Scar busts in?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's when he got his other arm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard to just to limit this to 10.
Yeah.
Is basically what I wanted to say. There are so many moments in here. We could literally do 10 episodes on just Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Each episode itself there's a plethora of things to explore. So it was really hard to narrow it down to just 10. but I feel like we did a good job isolating the parts that were pivotal to the plot. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like I don't know. For me personally, the I don't necessarily. I'm not a huge fan of origin stories, but the homunculus dwarf in the flask episode 40, was an origin episode. But it's probably my favorite episode out of this entire thing. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you're seeing how something you're so curious about transpires. I don't know. I just thought that was super interesting, and I really liked our choices, especially yours. And I can't believe you stole mine. It's okay though. It's okay. But I mean, if you've seen Full Metal Alchemist, you understand what we're talking about. And if you haven't, we just spoiled a hell of a lot for you, so I'm sorry. But go back and rewatch it with this kind of mindset. Like, look at these episodes. These are kind of the pivotal turning points. I mean, they happen kind of close together in chunks for us anyway. It's episode 2, episode 10, episode 12, then it skips to 19, then it skips a bit to 33, to 37, then to 40,
Yeah.
skips a bit to 51, 56, and 59. So it's like little chunks, but they're spaced out so, well, that this entire thing just feels like one giant journey that pays off at the end.
Yep. We got your personal pivotal plot points here.
Personal
Sure.
pivotal plot points here for sale. But no, it's definitely a journey, and it was really cool to be able to go through it.
Yeah.
Any overall thoughts from you, Tyler?
Um, I would say that this dub in particular, a lot of people sneeze at dubs. They're like, ah, dub,
Achoo. Achoo.
achoo. Yeah. You can
More like Apu.
yeah.
Sorry,
So
bad joke.
so
Continue.
I really actually this is one of the better and most excellent dubs that I've seen out there.
For sure. It's really well done.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I actually haven't heard the sub yet. I need to go back and watch the sub.
Yeah, my buddy that I guess our mutual friend that um introduced not only me to you but me to Full Metal Alchemist, Andrew, he um he was really key in getting me to watch this show, honestly.
For sure.
Yeah.
And y'all were kind of key to getting me to watch it. I had always known what it was, and I was like, do I really want to watch it? I don't know. No, it was definitely worth it.
Yes, indeed.
But I think we've covered everything that we wanted to cover, and a pretty decent amount of time. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. Hopefully this inspires a rewatch of the entire series. It's definitely worth it, and I'm kind of in the mood to watch it again, but I have other things I need to watch.
Yeah.
I have to, I have to, or else I'm not gonna get further in my anime viewing experience. But before we go, just wanted to say a couple of quick reminders. Make sure you're subscribed to both Tyler's channel and my channel. You can find Tyler on YouTube at Tyler the Gray. That's Tyler the Gray, one word, capital T in Tyler. Search Mission Minecraft as well for best results. And for mine, you can find me at Fusrodab. That's FUSRODAB. And as always, Mission Minecraft in the same search engine. You'll be able to find it the best. And don't forget, Spotto Gaming on Instagram. SPOTOGAMING. For everything, literally anything and everything you could possibly ever want. And this is the end of the episode, so we'll talk about some Patreon details real quick. Just remember that all Patreon proceeds and tip jar proceeds go directly back to you guys, with funding better equipment, games for streaming, and so on. You can search on Patreon for us at patreon.com/SpotOGaming, and there we have different tiers. There's really cool different things on there. Like you can have personalized Q&As. We're gonna have polls, different kind of wallpapers, Anything in there, Tyler, that you think is really cool?
I just think the whole thing's pretty cool. I mean, we're just trying to get a community going, like on multiple different kind of platforms here, and Patreon's only
Absolutely.
going to help us help you to have the best gaming and podcast and viewing experience in general.
And there's really cool rewards for you guys. It's not like you don't get
Yeah,
anything out
yeah,
of
for
it.
sure.
Also, we have our tip jar active, so you can find our tip jar link at any of our YouTube uploads. The live streams will have them. And remember, if we're live on Mission Minecraft, $1 equals one click of that fancy button that makes Walker go bye bye. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, presidential football.
Presidential football season. But yeah, it's a real good time, and your efforts will help us. We appreciate you guys. Did I miss anything, Tyler?
I don't think you did. So,
All right, cool. You get the honors.
as always, stay excellent to each other.
Indeed. We'll see you guys on the next podcast.